It's Stritsu here. Today we are going to dive into Sanskrit alphabet. But before we get into the letters, let's talk about the language. Sanskrit is an ancient Indo-Aryan language that serves as the foundational liturgical and scientific vessel for India's vast culture and philosophical heritage. Sanskrit alphabet is known as Varnamala. It's made up of two words, the word varna, which means a letter or a sound particle, and mala, which means a garland. So etymologically, the word Varnamala means garland of letters. In Sanskrit, the vowels are known as Swara, and in this video, we are only going to deal with the vowels. It is named so because it translates to sound that shines by themselves, because they can be pronounced independently without the help of other letters. Sanskrit swaras further are divided into two types, the Hrasvat swaras and the second are the Dirgha swara. Hrasvat swaras are the seed sounds. They are quick and take only one beat to pronounce. Dirgha swaras are the longer vowels, and the word Dirgha literally means long, so these vowels take exactly two matras to be pronounced, double the time of a short vowel. In Sanskrit, we use two scripts mainly to read it. The first is the Devanagari script, that is a native script of India, and second is IAST, which is how we transliterate Sanskrit words in English. For the people who are extremely new to Sanskrit and don't know about the native Sanskrit scripts, they should be rather going with IAST as it is going to be the most helpful for them. Now let's start learning about the Sanskrit vowels. The first Sanskrit vowel is a in IST represented by an simple A, and inside International Phonetic Alphabet it is known as Shra, often represented by an inverted E. In Sanskrit, is of great importance because every consonant carries the short sound implicitly unless marked otherwise. So this sound should be absorbed by our minds completely. We can understand this sound by some English examples such as away, award, ago, and alert. This sound is same as Sanskrit The Sanskrit examples for this sound would be the word like Ashva, which means a horse, the word Agni, which means fire, and also it is a Vedic deity, and the word like Amara, which means immortal. Our next vowel is A, A, in IAST represented by A having a macron above it. This is the same A sound which is found in English words like ask, article, arc, and answer. Sanskrit examples for this vowel A are like Akasha, Akasha, which means sky, the word asana, asana, which means posture used in yoga, and the word ananda, ananda, which means bliss or joy. Now, interestingly, in English, we pronounce the word asana as asana normally. And interestingly, it is only the first vowel, that is A, having a macron above it in IST, which represents the sound A. The remaining two A are in reality the schwa, so correctly pronunciated as asana. Also in the word yoga, yoga, the ending A is not this A, but rather the previous sound, that is the schwa. So in Sanskrit, we pronounce the word yoga as yoga. By reading the Sanskrit in IST, things become much more clearer and we start understanding and differentiating the difference between and easily. Our next vowel is E. This is the Hreswa E or short E, represented in IST by an I. And the English examples which can help us to understand these sounds are like ink, instrument, ignite, and invite. In Sanskrit, the examples are like the word iti, iti, which means thus or so, the word Indra, which is the name of a Vedic deity of rain and thunder, also he is the king of gods, and Ichha, Ichha, which means desire or wish. Our next vowel is the Dirgha version of this previous E, that is the longer E, represented in Devanagari by this, and in IST it is represented with I having a bar above it. We can understand this sound by some English examples like tree, sleep, ego, and believe. That E sound that you find in these words, which is for longer duration comparative to the previous one. In Sanskrit, the examples are like the word Ishvara, which is Lord, Master, or Supreme Being, the word Iksha, which means sight, observation, or view, or the word Irshya, Irsha, which means envy or jealousy. Moving forward for our next vowel is U. U. This is the short U. In IST, represented by a simple U, and the English examples to understand this sound are but, bush, full, and book for a very, very short time. The Sanskrit examples that can help us to understand this vowel even more are the word upadhyaya, upadhyaya, which means teacher or instructor, the word utsava, utsava, which means festival or celebration, and the word udara, udara, which means generous or noble. Our next vowel is the Dirgha version of the previous vowel, that is U, U. In IST, it is represented by a U having a macron above it, and English examples that can help us to understand this vowel are like moon, food, blue, and soup, that U sound. That is a prolonged version of the previous vowel. The Sanskrit examples are like urja, urja, which means energy or vigor, the word urna, urna, which means wool, and the word urdhva, urdhva, which means upward or elevated. Our next vowel is r, r. This is a vocalic vowel in Devanagari script used to represent a syllabic R sound primary in Sanskrit. It is represented in IST as R having a dot beneath it. And the English examples that can help us to understand the sounds are like the word butter, bird, future, burn, that R sound. Sanskrit examples which can shed even more light on this sound are like the word Rashi, Rashi, which means seer or sage, the word Rata, Rata, which means cosmic order or truth, and the word Rigveda, Rigveda, which is the oldest of four Vedas and the most prominent one as well. Moving forward, our next vowel is the Dirgha version of previous vowel, that is r, r. It is of double duration than the previous short r in IST, represented by r having a dot beneath it and a macron above it. We don't have this sound existing in English, so we are entirely dependent on the Sanskrit examples. They are like the word Pitranam, Pitranam, which means of ancestors or fathers, and the word Kartran, Kartran, which means doers. Now, This sound is incredibly rare in Sanskrit. This is only used in some noun declensions especially. So if you're finding it extremely difficult, you can perfectly neglect it. Our next sound is the vocalic L, that is lr, lr, represented in ist by L having a dot beneath it. This sound is the most rarest sound in entire Sanskrit, and there's only one word that has this sound, and that word is klarupta, 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 which means arranged, fixed, or ready. This sound is extremely rare, so it is not extremely useful sound. You can neglect it perfectly. The next vowel is the Dirgha version of this lr, that is lr, represented in ist by L having a dot beneath it and a macron above it. Now, r, the previous shorter vowel, is already a rare vowel. So this Dirgha version of r is not used inside Sanskrit at all. This is just a theoretical sound that's just here for the sake of grammatical symmetry, and it has no real use in Sanskrit. So fortunately, we have nothing to do with this vowel. Our next vowel is A. Now, before we begin with this sound, now we are entering in the section of vowels that are diphthongs. So at first, A seems like a single unit, but actually it's not. In Sanskrit, it is considered to be the combination of A and E, and hence it is pronounced as A. A in IST is represented by E, and we should try our best to not confuse it with the sound E. And the English examples that can help us to understand this sound are like the word age, aid, agent, April, etc. The Sanskrit examples that can help us to further understand these sounds are the word eka, eka, which means one, the word eva, which means only, alone, or thus, and the word ekagra, ekagra, which means one pointed or focused. Next is our another diphthong, that is I, I, written in IST as AI. We don't have this sound in English at all, so we're entirely dependent on Sanskrit illustrations. The word Aikya, Aikya, which means unity, oneness, or harmony. The word Aishwarya, Aishwarya, which means prosperity, serenity, or divine power, and the word Airavata, Airavata, which is the name of celestial white elephant of Indra. We should pronounce it like I, not I. The first strictly represents an schwa. Now let's move for our next vowel, that is O, represented in IST by an O. And the English examples that can help us to understand this sound are like the word old, ocean, omen, over, etc. The Sanskrit examples describing this sound are like the word oshta, oshta, which means lip or lips, based on context, the word ojas, ojas, which means vigor or vitality, and the word oshadhi, oshadhi, which is a medicinal plant or a medicinal herb. Our next vowel is O, O, represented in IST as AU, We don't have this sound in English at all, so we are entirely dependent on Sanskrit examples. They are like Oshadha, Oshadha, which is medicine, prepared from Oshadhi. So Oshadha and Oshadhi are actually connected. The word Audarya, Audarya, which means generosity or magnanimity, and the word Autsukya, Autsukya, which means eagerness or curiosity. So now end our standard Sanskrit vowels with au. So now let's move to the two remaining components of Sanskrit vowels, the first of which is Anuswara. Anuswara. Anuswara is quite simple, but in IST it is represented by a M having a dot beneath it. This simply means that whenever this dot is above a letter, it will create half sound. So examples are like these vowels, like um, im, rum, rum, aim, om. So in IST it is much simpler. Whenever you find this M having a little dot beneath it, it means that that sound is ending with that half sound. So I hope it is quite clear now. And moving towards our last vowel, it is visarga. Visarga. In IST, it is represented by H having a dot beneath it. Now, unfortunately, visarga is so complex that it can't be explained in one video. Visarga has so many different natures and characteristics that it needs an entire video devoted on itself. And understanding Visarga is quite impossible without knowing the consonants. So, first we must learn about the Sanskrit consonants, and then only we will be able to know about the true and correct pronunciation of Visarga. So that was all for today's video. In the next video, we will learn about consonants. And till then, thanks for watching.